It's Super Week for Game Changers North America Swiss Stage 2, which means twice the matches and more GC up to speed action. Teams have a quick turnaround from matches on Monday to games on Wednesday, which can be stressful when both promotion to main event and elimination are on the line. Let's get into our first two teams for round 6 of the Swiss stage, some of our 2-3 teams who are fighting to get to round 7 for a chance at main event, Cloud9 GC and Los Chudeles. Let's start with the elephant in the room, Cloud9 Game Changers, being up for elimination today after their core in Stage 1 playing under Ghost Gaming had a top 4 main event level finish. It might seem unexpected until you remember that Ghost Gaming core also barely made main event last time, having to win out a full 3-map best of 3 versus Sad GC in round 7 of the Swiss stage. It was after that their ducks were in a row and they went on a run. And that's kind of the case here as well, with Vanitas going to Shopfire Belly and Gold and Eli going to Swim Trek Blue, top main event teams. There were some spots on the roster to fill as Cloud9 GC were exploring picking up this team. Uni, or Ariel, had already been a past Ghost Gaming member and listed sub, so she came back to the starting lineup more fired up than ever. Coach Indra then told us a little bit about how that final spot ended up getting filled with an old but familiar face from the Game Changer space, Lily.
About how the team was formed. Obviously, last stage we kept a core 3 of Sari, Marcy, and Gia. How did we end up recruiting Lilia? It's kind of like a funny story because Marcy never asked me for anything legit ever before the Lily thing and after the Lily thing. But obviously, when Drew or Vanitas was getting trials, like SR trials, we knew that the possibility of them like going to that team was real. So we had to start looking for options, and Marcy was really adamant about trialing Lily and playing with Lily again because they've been previous teammates in the past, and I asked around and not a single person had anything bad to say. So if no one's saying anything bad, then I gotta give it a shot, and we found that it fit a lot better than at least I had originally thought. I thought it was gonna we were still gonna have to go through a lot of the new team or kind of new player issues, but she's really fit in.
Now with the newly set 5, they've been going through their paces and figuring out what works for them in the new meta and new competition.
Honestly, it's more just not necessarily reinventing, but just reapproaching things. Obviously with two new players, Lily and Ariel. They're not the same as Vanitas and Eli previously, right? So kind of accomplishing the same goal, just a different approach, and I'm sure you guys will be surprised, and I hope you guys like it. Peace.
When you look at the opponents and matches as well that have resulted in their losses this Swiss stage, it's nothing to scoff at. A matter of a swing round or two going awry versus Catface, a main event firepower team like the Spiders with GCC level talent like Nora or Scary Shark, and the first team to qualify for main event FlyQuest Red as well, which Gia has actually been really excited to face off against.
I love FlyQuest, and we always go back and forth every Swiss/main event, so I'm really excited for that rematch.
With chemistry mounting but no room for error left on the road to main event, they're going to have to be focused and locked in on the goal of maintaining the Cloud9 GC legacy of old with Cloud9 White and qualifying to lands, which Gia mentioned is a big motivator for them this stage.
When my team found out that LAN was going to be the grand finals, it gave my team a lot of motivation to do well this split, and we're very excited to show everyone what we have so that we do qualify for that. I want to say thank you for all the support, and I love you guys.
If they want to make a complete run, one team stands in their way right now, Los Chudeles. This team of Chip, Chomp, Jid, Mochime, and Kazler is a culmination of past friendships and promises coming together in one team environment. We had IGL Chip tell us a bit more about how this team was formed in that way.
It's pretty funny how this roster got formed, actually, because it really just came from a promise from me. I'm really great friends with Mochime, and Mochime, she was pretty much unsure if she was even going to find a roster for OK3. So I promised her, and I said, hey, if you can't find a roster, I'm going to come back to GC. I'm going to IGL you to Swiss. And yeah, stay true to my word. But Mochime is a great player. I know people don't see it in the stat sheet, but Mochime genuinely does things in the server that no other player would do. She's a great player. She has a impeccable impact, and she deserves this more than anybody that I know. And as for Kazler and I, we've been best friends ever since we first teamed on 26 Rising. About 4 years ago now. Pretty crazy. But she's been my best friend for about 4 years. And both of us originally swapped a deadlock, and we've been grinding a lot of that. And I just asked her because news came out like, hey, Kutasa can't really play Swiss. So we're like, okay, I have an idea, guys. So I asked Kazler, and I was like, hey, you want to do one more time for one last ride? And she was like, sure. So that's how I got Kazler, and yeah, that's how the team formed.
Like Chip said, I agree that Mochime is a highly underrated competitor. She fits into any squad and has been playing in GC for longer than a lot of big names in this space. She was even one of the first GC competitors I casted back in the Galorants days. It's only a matter of time before her hard work gets recognized. Despite all the players mentioned already, though, and having Kazler, who was huge back in the Gen G Black and Supernova Galaxy days, Chip actually mentions how one of their newer players may be the one to watch out for.
Our secret weapon is most definitely Jid. Everybody knows about Chompy, and anybody who was around back then knows how dangerous Kazler can be in the server. But Jid doesn't really get talked about. She goes under the radar a lot, but she consistently overperforms to like what people expect her to do. And she's won us a lot of her matches with their play, and she's genuinely just impeccable. And I wouldn't want anybody else in my empty slot, genuinely.
After qualifying for Swiss, they ramped up their practice from Pug to Pro, and have started to see the improvements as a result. Chip talks about this process and how their chemistry has allowed them to focus on expanding their strat book versus setting up fundamentals.
We've been practicing a lot, and it's kind of like what I just said, where we had an idea of like how our macro was, but we never were able really to talk about our micro. So that's something we've been focusing on a lot. That's just, like floods, site holds, refights, traps. What do we want to do with this ult or that ult? What if the other team has this ult or that ult? We've been botting a lot, theory crafting a lot, and yeah, I'm really excited to show what we've been working on, and that's pretty much it.
After being thrown into Axolotl in round 1, which is the remnants of Puppy Thieves and Wadada, they've been pretty consistent with just a lot of map 3 deciders swinging one way or another. This might seem like that they haven't been tested or pushed after all these reps by a top-level team, but coming into this match versus C9 as the ones to beat, as that top 4 finisher that nobody would have expected to fall on the elimination side of the bracket in Swiss, Chip talks about how Los Chudeles actually enjoy matches like these more than any other.
But honestly, really any team that's like top 4, like Sumtrek, SRG, FlyQuest, Cloud9. I love playing hard games against teams that, like player for player, are probably just better. And honestly, so does my team. We enjoy playing against we enjoy playing against teams that we have no reason to win against, and that's honestly our edge. We like being the underdog.
Will the underdogs on a final ride of Los Chudeles stage an upset, or will Cloud9 GC walk the same path that led them to success in Stage 1 of Valorant Game Changers North America? Find out by tuning in tonight around 7:30 p.m. EST on TTV/RadiantGG.